nice people in Minnesota, but it's colder than hell.
So obviously you grew up here then. Went where?
See, everything's Washington. The book I'm reading right now is based in Seattle. Dear God. Oh no.
Heck yeah.
Oh no.
Yes, you are.
How is that race thing that starts at 4 o'clock? Is that anything to watch?
I don't know. I've always been working, so.
Oh, we're here. Yes. Okay.
Oh, no weapons.
Stop's gonna be about 150 feet in. I need to talk to you. That way, you get used to the dark, I get used to the dark. I'm driving the train. Now then, the next little thing is we'll be going to the 700-foot mark. 700-foot marks an opening up to a stope. We're gonna go up 36 steps. We'll be there for a few minutes. Once we leave there, then we're going to the 1,500-foot mark. Now, the 1,500-foot mark is the opening to the Southwest Mine as well as the Copper Prince Mine. You're going to the Southwest Mine, not the Copper Prince Mine. Copper Prince Mine happens to be the evacuation route. You don't want to go there. Neither do I. Because if I walk you in there, you will walk 900 feet, climb a 200-foot staircase, walk another 900 foot, and a mile back down the highway with the semis. We're not going to do it. We do have it if we need it. Now, the next little scenario, you that don't have helmets, you're going to come on around this way. I got to put that helmet on you. All right, this hole that you're standing in, it's not a cave. It's called a cut and fill stope. In a cut and fill stope, in the early days, whenever possible, if they could remove large body of lead, carries a little silver. Now that orange looking rock, that's hematite. That's where the gold's at. There's a little bit of gold right there, not enough to make a ring, but the hematite ore did carry the gold. Now then, back in 1915, let's say that shift boss comes in and he says, men, we need to go this way. We want you to drill and blast. Well, in 1915, folks, that's the first drill. And the first jackhammer is a 4-pound hammer called a single jack. And a man would start out, he'd hit it, twist it, hit it, twist it, hit it, twist it, hit it, twist it. Why does he twist it? Well, number one, doesn't want his steel to get stuck. Number two, has to make a round hole. Dynamite's round. Once he's got that hole started, it is called collaring. They say, let's pick up the speed a little bit. We're going to give you a longer piece of steel now. But now then, we're going to give you a bigger jackhammer. A 12-pound sledgehammer called a double jack. Now this becomes a 2-man operation by candlelight. One man's going to turn that steel. The other man's going to stand back here and hit it. Now I wanted to demonstrate this a little bit. You notice my partner didn't come up here? Oh yeah, he's got a problem. It took all the cataracts out of my eyes 2 weeks ago. I'm going to Tucson and get glasses Monday. I can't even see the end of that steel. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you turn that steel. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the hammer and let him turn it. Oh, yeah, look, he's trying to hide his hands already, isn't he? Uh-huh. Folks, don't you know that the man that had this piece of steel in his hand turned and told that gentleman that had this hammer, you might be swinging it today. Remember, it's my turn tomorrow. Don't miss. There was a lot of fingers and hands that got hit. Then somewhere around 1920, this machine came underground. This machine started saving lives. Folks, miners fell down holes, got rocks on their heads, got kicked by the mules. What was the biggest killer underground? How about silicosis? Dust.
Yeah.
That was what was killing the miners. This machine come underground. It run with air. It had water going through it, all the way through to the end of that steel. Therefore, eliminating drill dust and extending the lifetime of a miner. Now then, in the last days of the mines in Bisbee, there were different jobs. On every level was the pipe and track man. His job, keep all the rails in good shape, air and water lines to these machines. On every level was the timberman. Timberman's job, keep all the timber along the rails in good shape so that train could keep it running. On every level was the motorman. All he did was drive a train. But he's got a partner called a swamper. Now that swamper's job is to load and unload the mine cars. You're going to hear about that job a little farther down the rail. Now then, bear in mind with me, in the last days of the mines in Bisbee, there was only 3 kinds of a miner. Also, base pay for a miner was $45 a day. That's it. Now in the stopes, there was 4 men to a stope. 2 working day shift, 2 work night shift, and they rotated their shifts every 2 weeks. But these men that were in these stopes were given a contract, given a standard. The company wanted them to produce so much rock on a 2 weeks basis. At the end of 2 weeks, when they tallied up that tonnage, anything that went over that standard, those men got paid a bonus of $10 a ton per man, plus their $45 a day in wages. Now, there's a second miner in these mines, that little man in the hole. He's called a raised miner. Now, him and his partner only work day shift. Their job is to drive a hole from one level to the next level, normally up to an ore body or through an ore body. And as they go up, they have to put in air and water lines, carry ventilation with them, put in ladders, put in landings, put in a chute. That piece of equipment he's got in his hand in Bisbee, it's called a stoper. Takes 4 pieces of steel to drill a 7-foot hole, but it does run with air and water. Now those men were given a contract. The company wanted them to advance up 6.5 feet a day at the end of 2 weeks when they measured from A to B. Anything that went averaged out more than that 6.5 feet, they got paid $100 a foot bonus per man, plus his $45 a day in wages. Some of them did quite well. Now you got the third miner in these mines, me. I went to work for Phelps Dodge Corporation 2 days after I graduated from Bisbee High School. And against my mother's wishes, where do you think I went? I went underground. I quickly become a miner. I worked in the cut and fill stopes, in the timbered stopes, and somewheres along that line in my younger days, I got into a group of men called the roustabouts. This is 6 men. Our job was to go to anywhere and everywhere there was a wreck. By that I mean a cave-in. Our job was to go in, re-timber it back up so those miners could get back in. Now this job also had another little job. Every Saturday and Sunday, when no one was working in the mine, my job was to sit in a boatswain's chair tied to a 30-foot cable underneath those cages as they lowered me down through them shafts. My job, check the shaft guides. Shaft guides are like what's in an elevator. Keeps that cage from banging back and forth against the wall. Well, after a while, I started getting a little boogery about this job for a couple of reasons. Number one, that so-called seat belt on that boatswain's chair was a 1-inch leather strap. It had slots in it. I brought it across my waist and hooked it over a button. The other thing that got boogery about it is the shallowest mine they were dropping me down was 1,600 feet deep. The deepest one was 3,700 feet. I finally figured it out. If something happened or I slipped, I was gone. I'd never be coming back. So I wound up getting in on a group of men called the Crosscut Miners. Crosscut Miners built the railroads, not like this mule trail I just brought you in on. The smallest ones that we were building were about 10.5 feet across on the bottom, 6.5 feet over the top, but 8 foot from that rail to that trolley line. Now there's 4 men to a crew, 2 working day shift, 2 night shift, and we rotated every 2 weeks. But while working at the coal shaft and the Dallas shaft, the company gave us a contract also. They wanted us 4 men between day shift and night shift of a day to advance ahead 7 feet. No way. Us 4 men did everything we could do to lay a section of rail.
You see the cars driving on those roads up there. I saw them like cruising this way, over that way.
Oh, you're kidding.